Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 8th of April. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at CTM The Bigger Picture.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of a week. Right, well, we've had a hell of a day yesterday. The apocalypse being promised, Trump telling... truthing out that he was going to be wiping out a 2.5 millennia-old civilization, which could never be rebuilt yesterday, which had everyone wondering about nuclear weapons. And then in the evening, when his deadline was up at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, he then caved and accepted the Iranian conditions for peace, which is where we are now. So I think this probably looks solid. I mean, honestly, the last few days have been so close to insanity that really I'm wondering how reliable anything is at the moment. But I think the chances are this is actually going to be peace in a couple of weeks. I mean, the US isn't going to agree to reparations, I don't think, but it does appear it's going to agree for the Iranians to continue to control the Strait of Hormuz. They will be charging everyone going through the Strait of Hormuz a significant toll. And in effect, I think the idea is that they will be able to use those as reparations. So it doesn't leave... Well, obviously, it would be the US would be in a considerably better position and richer, and everyone would be better off if the war had never started in the first place. But nonetheless, we are where we are, and this is about as good as it's going to get. So, in terms of the markets, these have broken up, and chances are we're going to go higher. We're up 176 at the time of writing. I've got various patterns which I've put in here, and I've got these marked on the charts, and IHS has broken up with a target in the 69.75 area on ES, and we've got an IHS which is broken up with a target in the 26.050 area on NQ. And a double bottom is broken up with a target in the 27.33 to 27.40 area on RTY. A double bottom is broken up with a target in the 48.970 to 49.400 area on YM. We don't actually have any obvious patterns breaking up on... I mean, it's arguable, but nothing really of a quality that I'd be prepared to put down on DAX and ESTX. But on Nikkei, we've got another IHS which is broken up with a target in the 59,000 area, pretty close to a retest of the all-time high. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And okay, now I've drawn all these on the 15-minute charts. Now, obviously, we saw a break over we saw another close over the daily middle band yesterday, and it looks as though we're going to gap back over the 200 DMA at the open this morning, and we may actually... no, we're probably not going to quite gap up over the 50 DMA yet, but we'll probably break over that, and we may well be heading straight back for a retest of the high. That will, when we get there, potentially be setting up a double top. We haven't got anything really on the hourly chart worth to mention. On the 15-minute chart, here we have an IHS which is broken up with a target in the 69.12 area. And it's nice, and I was already watching it. I had doubts about it happening, but I did think if peace broke out, then maybe. And this is... I'd call this decent quality. Qs, we closed slightly over the daily middle band, and obviously all the news about peace breaking up was after hours. We have here an IHS which has not yet broken up, but on a breakup we'll have, it's obviously likely to break up pretty hard at the open today, and this would have a target in the 627.5 area. Looking at Dia, which saw a second close over the daily middle band yesterday. Nothing really. We've still got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed now, and the RSI 5 buy signal, which had reached the possible near miss target, like the one on IWM, I think. These will both likely reach target today. Well, the RSI 14 one went, but the RSI 5 ones on IWM and Dia likely well. We don't have anything really here on the hourly chart. 15-minute, we've got a nice looking IHS here, or at least pretty decent looking. And on a sustained breakout, that would have a target in the 485 area. Looking at IWM, bear with me a second. Right, looking at IWM, we've got a double bottom here. It was breaking up slightly yesterday, and I've got that breaking up with the target in the 266 to 268 area, and that's looking pretty good. The IHS, the buy signal. Sorry, I've written that as a sell signal for some reason. Wait a second. So the RSI 5 buy signals reached possible near-miss target, likely will reach target today. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us potentially going back and retesting highs. Does it leave us at the start of a huge bull run? Honestly, I'm skeptical. The economy's in the toilet. The US's reputation's in the toilet. So there's not. But we are still obviously, we're still in an overall uptrend currently in the markets, which hasn't necessarily stopped. I wouldn't be surprised to see that stop soon. So I am wondering if they retest the high, set up a double top, will actually be setting up for a larger decline. But in the meantime, I think there's a pretty good chance we are going to go back and retest the high, and then we will see what happens there. All right, looking at DAX. DAX, no obvious reversal pattern here, but we didn't really have anything that broken down either. On Nikkei, we've got a head and shoulders, which is broken down here, and we've got here, this looks like a double bottom, actually. So it's not... No, it's decent. I mean, this isn't quite as good as the IHS that we're seeing on the brewing on the hourly chart, but a break up from here will get us much of the way back to the high and would invalidate this head and shoulders, giving us a target back at a retest of the all-time high at 59.3. We will see how this goes, but I'm thinking this is pretty bullish, and insofar as anything out of the American administration at the moment can be relied upon to be either truthful or sane, this looks relatively reliable. All right, looking at DX. DX, we've seen the obvious in response to peace breaking out. We've seen dollar looking weak. We've seen bonds going up, and we've seen oil going down. In terms of the dollar going down, well, the obvious route is down from here. We've got a double top, which is broken down with a target now in the 96.76 area to 96.99 area. And if the Iran war is over and, in effect, the US has conceded to the Iranian demands and is walking away with a loss, then there's no particular reason for the dollar to continue going up, even though the pattern setup is so nice. So we shall see how that goes, but at the moment we've got broken down for a double top here. I'm not seeing anything particularly to doubt that that's going to make target. Not a huge amount of support from other things, but on Euro we do actually have a pretty decent looking IHS, which is broken up with a target in the 1.1875 area. Not a lot to see on GBP, USD/JPY. Again, I'd been looking for that retest of 162, which we may get sooner anyway, but the immediate impetus seems to have gone. Still looks kind of like a bull flag here on USD CAD, a weak 6-minute buy signal fixed. So there's some mixed signals here. Australian dollar, we've seen a significant move up here, and it may be that this head and shoulders is going to fail. It hasn't failed yet. No, it has failed. That has failed. It's failed overnight. So that really is looking for a retest of the high now. So I'm going to take away that arrow. And NZUSD, nice little break up too. We got a weak 6-minute sell signal, which is fixed. And may play out in the short term. Looking at the bigger picture on there. Looking at the US dollar, we had a weak RSI 14 sell signal brewing. That weak sell signal is now fixed. The RSI 5 sell signal, which had fixed, is now broken down and made target. And we've got a nice looking little double top here. I haven't marked it up yet. I'll have it marked up for the weekend, but this is breaking down. But effectively, this is the same one we're looking at on the futures. We will see, and maybe. We're not going to. Maybe what we're seeing here is this larger double bottom, which is broken up, failing again. In which case, we'll probably see a retest of the low again, and then we will see whether or not it's going to break down further. But sooner or later, keep knocking on a door, it's going to sooner or later it tends to open. The more we keep coming back to the lows and testing them, sooner or later it's going to drop through it. All right, looking at the euro. Nice looking double top, which had broken down and may well be in the process of failing. Can't fail the double top on GBP/USD, as that hadn't actually broken down yet. USD/JPY, we had a sell signal fixed on the RSI 5 and the RSI 14. RSI 5 is more or less made target, but I'm thinking we will probably likely to see some downside here on USD/JPY, and we're probably likely to see that on USD CAD as well. And did we have sell signals here? We did not. Australian dollar probably fading back into the highs, and NZ highs are a larger distance away, but we've got an RSI 5 buy signal which is fixed and made target. I'd be expecting to see more upside here and more downside from the dollar. All right, let's have a look at bonds. Now, bonds have had responded pretty strongly. Now here, of course, I was wondering about more upside. Of course, we've got this double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 115.26 area, and that is supported, of course, by a daily buy signal on TLT and sell signals on TYX and TNX. These are now all now looking good to make target, and I think this we're testing the monthly pivot at the moment on ZB, but that's looking pretty good. So chances are we will make this target and go a bit higher. Looking at ZN, nothing really as concrete in terms of a pattern here. After a long period, it looks as though the 60-minute buy signal is going to reach target today, though. We shall see how that goes. In terms of the looking at the bigger picture on those, TYX, of course, we had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. On TNX, we had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed and a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed. And on TLT, we had an RSI 5 buy signal fixed. So this was leaning towards seeing some more upside on bonds, and it looks like we're getting that upside on bonds, and we'll see. These have all been testing their daily middle bands in recent days, and it looks as though obviously overnight they will go through them, and we will get that extension higher on bonds. After that, bigger picture, I'm still leaning I'm still leaning towards the short side on bonds, but not now because of the Iran war, which is, I mean, we've got 2 more weeks for while it's being wrapped up, but I think chances are this is solid, and we're not going to be seeing the Iran war coming back, which is really pretty much a good thing. I mean, it may be, I mean, obviously a lot of international relationships have been damaged. Basically all of NATO in Europe were refusing to let Americans run ops from their bases. And if the US now wants to leave NATO and take all of their bases out of Europe, it will never have a more receptive audience than it will do right now. When really half of NATO has really concluded that Trump is crazy. All right, so we shall see how it goes. All right, let's have a look at oil. Now, CL, down a lot. Not really a double top here. I'm not really seeing the patterns as particularly indicative here, but all the sell signals which are fixed on the daily charts are now making target at the moment. We're down a lot. We came down from 117.50 to 91 last night, and chances are it's going to go lower, but I don't think we're going to be returning to 65 straight away. I think it's going to take a while. I think trust needs to be built up. We need to see that stuff's going through the straightforward news. An assessment needs to be made of the actual damage to production facilities in the Gulf, and but I think you'd expect us to get back to where it was previously over the next 6 months to a year, but it's unlikely to be immediate. But some of the impact has been immediate, and we've been seeing that overnight. HO down heavily as well. Possible we said bounce here and then form head and shoulders to take this lower. We will see. But as I said, I'm not expecting to see a return to the lows straight away. I would be surprised to see that. So nice pullback in RBOB. NG, I was talking about the possibility we might come back and test this trend line in the 2.68 area, and that's looking pretty good. This has been going lower. So I don't think really, I never really saw much evidence that there was a great deal of impact here from the war on natural gas. So we'll see. All right, great. Let's have a look at those on the bigger picture. And Looking at Brent, we had an RSI 14 sell signal and an RSI 5 sell signal. I'm expecting to see at minimum the RSI 5 sell signals make target straight away, and the other ones likely in a slightly longer period. On W2, we never quite made it up to the retest of this high here, so we never got any sell signals. On heating oil, we had RSI 14 and RSI 5. Gas oil, we had RSI 14 and RSI 5. All of these RSI 5 sell signals probably make target today or tomorrow. RSI 14 ones probably make target, but likely will take longer. In terms of natural gas, I was talking about a move down to possibly 2.61 area to test this support trend line. And I think we may well be heading there next. We shall see. And this is just resuming the downtrend it was in before the Iran war started. All right, let's have a look at precious metals. Now, we've got some IHSs here too, but I've only marked in the ones which are of decent quality because the other ones are just too ugly. An IHS, one of the rules is, and it's sort of vague, I know, but it needs to actually look like it could be a Head and Shoulders. You mustn't project too much onto it. So this was pretty decent, good technical IHS. This is broken up with a target in the 5111 area, and gold has gone up a bit with the end of the Iran war, which is kind of what it fits with what it had been doing previously. I'm liking the odds of this reaching target, and that's marked up. SI, I've marked in the neckline for a possible IHS here. It's kind of ugly. I don't like the lengths of the shoulders. I haven't marked in the arrows, but we're probably heading higher anyway, testing the monthly pivot as resistance. Looking at palladium. Palladium, testing the monthly pivot and going through that at the moment. Again, we had an IHS. Again, it was kind of ugly. And again, I haven't drawn in the arrows, but may well head off and make the target anyway, which should be at about the 1770 area on platinum. Again, we had an IHS. Again, it was kind of ugly. Again, I didn't particularly like it, and again, it may well head off the main target in a bit of the 2350 area, and we're breaking over the monthly pivot there too. HG, not a precious metal, obviously, but I was leaning towards this going down with the Iran war intensifying. Obviously, with the Iran war now cancelled, this can go up, although I don't think it was in a particularly convincing uptrend before this all started. Let's have a look at that on the bigger picture charts, and looking at gold. Gold, I'm liking the upside here. We've got a lovely bull flag here. It's a perfect bull flag channel, and I'm liking this to head back up into a retest the high at 56.0835. Looking at silver, is the flag as nice? Not quite. Is it decent? Yes. And I'm thinking this may well be breaking up again. Testing the daily middle band at the moment, but likely will go over that at the open today. Looking at platinum, we've got sort of an RSI 5 buy signal fixed. I'm leaning towards this being some kind of a flag as well, and palladium the same. In terms of copper, I was leaning towards the downside here before the war started. We've still got a nice RSI 14 sell signal fixed on the copper chart. Not as nice as an RSI 5 sell signal, but still pretty good. We've got the weekly RSI 5 sell signal made target. We don't have an obvious pattern here, but I am leaning towards this returning to heading back down to this support here in the 4.3 area. Looking at GDX, leaning towards the upside here. We've still got double tops which are moving, which are facing down. We've still got weekly RSI 14 sell signals fixed on both GDX and GDXJ. These could make target, but I have to say I think the RSI 5 ones made target. They're the main important ones, and I'm thinking if gold is going to return and the pattern setup is very nice for doing that, then chances are we're done to the downside on these as well. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities and KC. KC, this still looks like an overall bear flag for me. Sooner or later, this should come back and retest the low. Looking at SB. Nice retrace here. Not seeing anything compelling to suggest there'll be much more of it. We certainly don't. We never really had a decent reversal pattern here. Because this beard bull flag, it kind of looks too big for that now. CC, I think we're in a consolidation which is likely to result in due course with a retest of this low here in the 2800 area. That could come now, could come later. But if this is going to be an A, B, sorry, an ABC, then that would probably need a higher high. But if this is a triangle, of course, then it wouldn't. On CT, pretty close to the highs. I'm still thinking that we may well see cotton, wheat, and corn play out for relatively modest targets over the next few weeks. We shall see. On lumber, lumber may be resuming the downtrend. Wheat looks like a bullish consolidation. Corn looks like a bullish consolidation. Soy has gone back, retested this flag low, and double top has broken down with a target in the 117 to 1121 area. That could make target. We've got a decent IHS, which is looking higher here as well. We will see how that goes, but I'm quite liking the upside on all of this. Looking at ZL, we retested this high here. We've seen a bit of a reversal from there, but I'm not seeing anything compelling suggesting that this isn't going to go up too. Live cattle has already broken higher. Lean hogs, I think this is a bull flag, and we're likely heading back up into a retest of this high here in the 111.975 area. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And okay, coffee. Coffee, we have a decent looking IHS which is broken up and looks as though it's in the process of failing. If it fails, which will be on a break below 2.816, then we should see a retest of the low here at 2.753. Looking at sugar, sugar, we've got a nice looking potential falling wedge here. We haven't broken up from the wedge resistance yet, I don't think. Looks as though we have slightly on here this chart though. But I'm thinking that we could see some more upside here, but obviously we would need to see some follow through to the upside. Looking at cocoa, we've got a bit of positive divergence here. Got to say, this just looks like a flag, but when we retest this low in due course, we could be setting up the second low as small double bottom. Nothing really compelling saying this goes much higher though. Looking at cotton, we got a lovely double bottom, hasn't broken up yet, and compared to this decline from the 2022 high, this would not be a big move. We wouldn't even get back to the 38%, 38.2% Fibonacci retracement. So I'm quite liking this double bottom, and I like the ones on wheat and corn, and I like the setup on soy as well at the moment. Let's come to that. Lumber, overall, this is a double top that has broken down with a target in the 353 area within an overall bear flag that's been forming for 3 years and counting, which would break down with a target in the same area. Sooner or later, I'm expecting this downtrend to resume and to head off to those targets. On wheat, nice looking double bottom, which is starting to break up. Corn, nice looking double bottom, which hasn't broken up yet. Soybeans, this now looks like a possible IHS falling. We could see big upside in all of these. I'm planning a post in the next few days to talk about these, because these could actually be some of the larger bullish stories of the year, even if by the standards of where we were in 22, these aren't actually huge moves. All right, great. Let's have a look at crypto. Now, crypto, if Trump was unleashing the dogs of war and the apocalypse, then obviously this was going to be somewhere where the crypto would go down. But we've been seeing a bit of a rally on peace breaking out. This still looks like bear flags. These still are likely in due course to go back and retest these lows. That's a 60.1 on Bitcoin, and at 67.65 on Solana, and at 1746.93 on Ethereum, and none of that has changed. We're seeing a bit of a rally today. We'll probably see a bit more rally here, but sooner or later we are likely to break down from these bear flags and head off and make those targets, and that hasn't changed. Okay, in which case I think that's a wrap. So everyone take care. I'll catch you again on Sunday. Hopefully the rest of the week will be slightly less hard on everyone's blood pressure and less exciting. So, but as long as peace continues to break out, I'm expecting to see a rally with some legs here. All right, cheers.